Hello, I'm Kimilia and you're watching KiniNews. Putrajaya needs to change how it does business, according to Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. This is because the national debt is at 1.2 trillion ringgit before liabilities. The national debt, including liabilities, has hit 1.5 trillion ringgit and this matter must be addressed immediately, said Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. Anwar, who is also the finance minister, said the country's economic position is not strong and still affected by external factors.
Ekonomi masih dianggap malang. Ia juga terkait dengan perkembangan antarabangsa, perkembangan kesejahteraan atau global, baik soal perang Ukraine-Rusia ataupun pasca COVID yang belum dapat menzahirkan kekuatan ekonomi dunia.
With this, he called on civil servants to do away with the culture of contentment and said that they have to accept the fact that things can no longer be business as usual. He said if there is a culture of complacency, they would not be able to drive the desired economic growth. Anwar also pointed out that the government could have saved billions if it had been more careful with its procurement of weapons and equipment under the Defence Ministry.
Kita mengalami kebocoran yang tinggi. Dalam hampir belum 2 bulan saya di Kementerian Kewangan, saya boleh kenal pasti 3-4 bilion ringgit yang boleh diselamatkan.
He stressed that the wastage of resources could have been avoided with the eradication of corruption at all levels, and if there was no political interference or the interests of big vendors. Anwar said that he will attempt to address matters on the national debt on February 24th in Parliament, when the revised budget 2023 is expected to be tabled. Much has been said about the need for politicians to declare their assets, but Anwar Ibrahim said today it must be meaningful and not just a political gimmick. The MACC is fine-tuning the asset declaration system for top government officials. This is according to Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. Speaking to reporters in Putrajaya today, Anwar described the previous system as a farce and said that it did not reflect the true wealth of some of the participants. He added that he was in discussion with various agencies, including the MACC, to make the process more transparent.
Declaring assets was a farce as far as concerned in the past, because you can find people having hundreds of millions of ringgit and still declaring 11 million or 12. So I think what we need to do is to make sure that the parameters are clear. See? And I'm now discussing with the various agencies, including the MACC, to make sure that these things are more transparent.
Anwar said this when asked if he had received asset declarations from his cabinet members and whether the declarations will be made public. Previously, Pakatan Harapan had promised that all MPs, senior civil servants, government-linked company chairpersons, as well as their spouses and close family members aged 18 and above, must declare their assets. The coalition did not make it clear if this declaration had to be made public. If you're hoping the government will allow more special withdrawals from EPF, you may want to lower your expectations because the Prime Minister does not seem keen on the idea. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has dismissed calls for another round of EPF special withdrawals. However, one of his ministers said it warrants a cabinet discussion. Anwar pointed out that it would be better for the government to look into other effective options. This is to help those gravely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. He said that the government would have to consider the plight and the future of EPF contributors before allowing another round of withdrawals, as many have little savings in their accounts. According to Bernama, Anwar said after he checked the amount of savings for a majority of contributors, it is too small and he is very concerned about their future. He said this at an event with civil servants in Perlis yesterday. Earlier, at a separate event in Kuala Lumpur, Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Minister Salahuddin Ayub assured that the request to allow for another round of withdrawals will be looked into. He noted that the people's plight was due to the cost of living. Speaking to Malaysia Kini, he said whether whether it can be agreed on or not, the cabinet has to discuss that. Yesterday, a group of EPF contributors called on the government to consider another EPF early withdrawal of up to 30,000 ringgit. The 4 GRS lawmakers who left Bersatu after GE15 can rest easy after the Dewan Rakyat Speaker ruled that they did not violate the anti-hopping law. 4 Gabungan Rakyat Sabah MPs who had left Bersatu after GE15 were told that they did not have to vacate their seats. This is according to Papar MP Armizan Ali. According to The Star, Armizan, who is one of the 4, said they had received a copy of Dewan Rakyat Speaker Johari Abdul's reply on the matter to Baluran MP Ronald Kiandi. He was quoted as saying that he couldn't release the content of the response, and all he could say is that there was no need for them to vacate their seats. The 4 MPs had been accused of party hopping after the 15 general election. Armizan, Batu Sapi MP Karul Firdaus Akbar Khan, Sipitang MP, Mabali Musa and Ranau MP Jonathan Yassin were all Bersatu members in the lead-up to GE15. However, despite being aligned with Bersatu-led Perikatan Nasional, GRS ended up supporting Anwar Ibrahim as Prime Minister. GRS chief and then Sabah Bersatu chairperson Haji Jinor later led them out of Bersatu, which raised questions about whether they had violated the anti-hopping law. However, the 4 claimed that they had joined the GRS as direct members before GE15 and triggered a Bersatu party rule sacking those who are members of 2 parties. Obviously, the Speaker's decision isn't sitting well with Bersatu, with its President Muhyiddin Yassin seeking legal action. Bersatu President Muhyiddin Yassin has disagreed with Dewan Rakyat Speaker Johari Abdul's decision in allowing 4 former Bersatu MPs in Sabah to keep their seats. In a statement today, Muhyiddin said the party would take legal action over the matter. He said Johari had made a mistake in his interpretation of the law and the facts surrounding the fall. According to Muhyiddin, Johari had concluded that the 4 joined Gabungan Rakyat Sabah as party members on October 27 last year, which had triggered Clause 10.2.3 of the Bersatu Constitution. The clause states that a person's membership in Bersatu is terminated immediately upon an announcement of departure from the party or from the act of joining other political parties. However, Muhyiddin said the clause did not apply to the 4 because Bersatu was a founding member of GRS. Therefore, he said GRS cannot be defined as a other political party. He added that on November 3rd last year, 2 days before nominations, Sabah Bersatu Secretary Muhammad Razali Muhammad Razi wrote to the party headquarters with a list of GRS candidates attached, and the 4 members were listed as Bersatu members. In December last year, Baluran MP Ronald Kiandi had written to Johari to claim that 4 MPs had to vacate their seats. Johari sought answers from the 4 as part of his investigations and had written to all parties involved yesterday to inform them that Ronald's complaint was invalid and that the 4 could keep their seats. Anthony Loke is many things. He's the DAP Secretary General. He's also the Transport Minister. However, there's something he says he's not. Transport Minister Anthony Loke has called on the public to give the government more time to fix any problems with the public transport system. According to The Rocket, Loke told Chinese radio station IFM in an interview that improvements will not come the next day with the changing of a minister. He said he was not Superman, that everything would be all right with just one spot check on the public transport. Loke added that he will listen to the problems faced by the people and will focus on solving the problem. However, he said whether it can be implemented or improved, it definitely needs a period of time. Loke said there would also be key performance indicators to be implemented in the public transport sector to measure its performance. He added that the operators of public transport must now focus on improving maintenance in order for them to see improvements. He said it was not only the responsibility of the technicians, but the whole management must implement the changes. The Lunar New Year is almost here and MCA is preparing its annual open house to be held on January 22nd. However, this year is going to be rather special, with Anwar Ibrahim set to be a guest of honor. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has been invited to MCA's Chinese New Year open house. This comes more than 2 decades after he was removed from his position in the government in September 1998. Anwar will be attending the event at the MCA headquarters in Kuala Lumpur as one of the guests of honor. MCA Secretary General Chong Sin Woon issued a media statement confirming the Prime Minister's attendance at the party's open house. He said it is always the practice of MCA to invite the Prime Minister to attend the Chinese New Year open house, and this year is no exception. He confirmed that MCA had invited the Prime Minister and said that Anwar had agreed to attend. Anwar's current aides could not recall when the Prime Minister last set foot in the building. The last time could have been around the time when Dr. Ling Leong Sik was still MCA president. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister's political aide, Chan Ming Kai, told Malaysia Kini that Anwar would also attend a function at the Kuala Lumpur and Selangor Chinese Assembly Hall. Anwar is also scheduled to return to Tambon in Perak to meet his constituents.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you would like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Kimilia. Thanks for watching.